Right. Still less. Oh yeah, okay, on this side. Excuse us.
Here, let me get you guys signs. Excuse me.
Have on a t-shirt, don't have it on the same side as the logo. If you're dressing. Yes.
Good.
Good.
It's like a little
Good.
this face was.
Okay.
The one that was. Well, here's the guy. No, zero. That's on the terrible shorts.
Oh yeah. Okay. Okay. Okay.
The toxic. How are they just?
Do you want me to wear a shirt and let's use the side? They're not wearing a shirt. Or do you not?
I think a big deal, but yeah, I think if we can try and get that would be good.
Like the way they're spread out.
Yeah, I think it's fine. It's enough, like, thanks. Yeah.
Hey, did you guys wearing one of the shirts?
I figured I was recording. No, got it. Oh, yeah. Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here today. My name is Naveed Shah. I'm the Political Director of Common Defense. We're a grassroots federal organization. And as you can see, we brought about 16 of our members from across the country to DC this week to meet with the representatives in Congress and talk about why the potential steps from the VA are the wrong thing to do. Just this last week, we did a poll of veterans across the country and found that 66% overwhelmingly opposed the administration has been built opposed at the VA. This includes veterans across the spectrum, the Democrats, Independents, and Republicans. Almost 80% of veterans trust the VA. They love the care that they receive at the VA. They want to continue receiving their care at the VA. They want to strengthen the care that they receive at the VA. They do not want to see cuts at the VA. And the vast majority of veterans also oppose the firing that us controls have done across the government because we know that 30% of federal government employees are veterans. So today we have here with us a great contingent of Americans who are going to talk to you a little bit about why these cuts are the wrong thing to do. So without further ado, I want to pass it on to a U.S. Marine Corps veteran, Senator Richard Blumenthal.
Thank you.
Well, I came from my t-shirts. but I think I'm going to have to settle for a sign. What a beautiful sign, and what a beautiful sight, really. Uh, I hope someone on my staff is getting a photo of this group, because you are truly beautiful, patriotic, dedicated veteran. Giving the country, and you are continuing to serve. Thank you to Common Defense for bringing us together. I am really so proud to stand with you and to say the VA is not for sale. When I pray millions and millions of veterans across the country who depend on the VA for their health care, who have deserved benefits under the PAC Act, we're not going to allow veterans to be betrayed by this administration. Now, you know, I've just come from a hearing with the VA secretary, and to say it was a disappointment, I think, is a huge understatement. That hearing was a disgrace. Yes. He failed to provide basic facts and information. Has done, and the VA and this administration have done again and again and again. Almost 20 of our letters, no substantive response. Inquiries about basic facts, no response. But here's what we know for sure. Their goal, and that's his word, is to fire 83,000 veterans. How do we know it? Because he has said it in public repeatedly. The goal is a 15% cut. Who's going to be fired? Where they work? What they do? They don't care. They just want to slash an agency that, frankly, like any of us, could use improvement. None of us is perfect. But that does not mean it should be dismantled and sold to the highest bidder. They want to put the VA on the chopping block. In fact, on the auction block. They want to privatize VA healthcare. They want to turn over VA benefits to some outsourcing. That's their plan. And a 15% cut is their first step. They won't say it, but it clearly is the must Doge dopes plan for the VA, and Donald Trump is putting his stamp of approval on it. Now, what I want to emphasize is the VA should be getting more resources, more doctors, more surgeons, more nurses, more counselors, more social workers, more schedulers, more janitors. They are all part of a team. The surgeon can't go into the operating room on her own and begin wielding a scalpel to correct some illness or problem. It's a team, the nurses, the anesthesiologist. When the VA secretary says that a doctor is useless because they're not seeing a patient, that view betrays a total ignorance of how healthcare and medicine works. The doctor who sees you depends on other doctors, as well as nurses, behind the scenes to interpret lab results, to process reports, and provide diagnoses. The VA already has 40,000 openings that it is recruiting to fill, and now it wants to fire 83,000 of the same people it's trying to recruit. Makes no sense. It is nonsensical. It is a betrayal of healthcare. And what Americans need to know is we should be supporting the VA. We should be behind the VA. We should invest in the VA facilities so they can be modernized. You should invest in more medical education because we need more doctors and nurses. Be providing for every veteran goes to see a doctor or applies his benefits at the VA. And I'll just finish this note. I have proposed a measure called putting veterans first. Putting veterans. Rehire all the veterans who've been terminated in the federal work.
Yes.
They're about 25 to 30% of the federal workforce. So when Elon Musk fires thousands of people, he's firing veterans. Rehire every single VA employee who has been fired because they're essential, and put a stop to these arbitrary draconian firing without any individual evaluation. They're just firing people because they're probationers. They're the future of our workforce. Or they've just been promoted, so they're on probationary status. Their approach to VA is flat and crap. Put it on the auction block, privatize its services. We don't care about the real life impact, but the people with us here know about the real life impact of these firings. Healthcare delay, which is healthcare denied. VA PAC Act benefits, delay and potentially denied. Outlast veterans in the hope that maybe they'll pass away before we have to compensate them for their disability. That kind of attitude has no place in America. I'm proud to stand with you today and to say veteran health care, not for sale. VA, not for sale. Not on our watch. Thank you.
So up next, we have my fearless leader, Army veteran Jose Vasquez.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jose Vasquez. I'm a U.S. Army veteran, and I'm the Executive Director of Common Defense. First, I want to thank the members of the House and Senate who are here today. Our brother, Chris D'Amuzio, Common Defense member, is hosting us. Ranking Member Richard Blumenthal, thank you, Senator, for your remarks and also for what you said in the committee hearing. We were there from gavel to gavel this morning. Other members who are making their way here because of voting that's going on. Ranking Member Mark Takano is on his way. Senator Sanders, Representative Jason Crow, and Representative Pat Ryan is right behind me and speaking short. Your presence here is a testament to your commitment to our nation's veterans. I want to tell you a little bit of story of what I've just recently gone through over the last few months. So about 8 weeks ago, I got sick. It started out small, a sore throat, some indigestion, and chills. Nothing dramatic. But then the whites of my eyes started turning yellow, as well as my skin. And my urine turned orange. I walked into the Bronx VA hospital on February 14th, Valentine's Day, unfortunately, and everything changed for me. The VA team moved quickly. There were labs, scans, and within a few days, a diagnosis. A tumor was growing on my pancreas. By March 5th, a world-class team of surgical oncologists had removed the tumor. I got amazing, life-saving care. And unlike so many Americans, not once did I have to ask, if I don't make it, how will my family pay for this? So it's no exaggeration to say that the VA saved my life. And I'm not alone. Millions of veterans depend on VA every day. Survivors of cancer, toxic exposure, traumatic brain injuries, and post-traumatic stress. You don't hear those stories on the news every day because the VA and the people who make it work, many of whom are themselves fellow veterans, have been subjected to a nonstop smear campaign. Why? Simple. Because a small group of greedy billionaires would rather get tax cuts than pay for the true cost of war. The latest version of this attack is a plan by the Trump administration to eliminate 83,000 jobs, as Senator Blumenthal mentioned. They call this efficiency, but we call it betrayal.
Yeah.
Donald Trump never wore the uniform.
Nope.
He's never taken a 3 a.m. call. He's never taken a 3 a.m. call from a battle buddy who is in a crisis. But he wants to treat the national system, providing care and benefits to 9 million veterans, with the same blueprint he's used for his hotels and casino companies. Take a chainsaw to the workforce, make jokes and memes, and walk away while the rest of us deal with the wreckage. We're not going to let that happen. The VA is not for sale. It's a sacred promise, earned in blood and sacrifice. And when that promise is broken, the betrayal is measured in the loss of our brothers and sisters, our mothers and fathers, and our children. Every veteran, at some point, had to put faith over fear. That was true when I joined the Army. It was true when I got my cancer diagnosis. And it's true now as we stand to defend the institution that saves our lives. We're asking Congress to do the same. We know it's not easy. There's a cloud of fear over this Capitol. All we ask is this: put your faith in what's right. Put your faith in the Constitution. Put your faith in the rule of law. Protect veterans from the greed of the powerful and the chaos of the unaccountable. Hold the damn line. If you join us, as these senators and congressmen have, you won't be alone. At Common Defense, we're organizing veterans in every corner of this country to stop this assault on our care, our jobs, and our dignity. We kept our promise to this nation. We're asking Congress to find the courage to keep theirs. Thank you.
Thank you, Jose. Really appreciate that. Up next is another one of our dear friends, the Navy veteran from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Representative Chris Deluzio.
Right. I couldn't be prouder. I couldn't be prouder to stand with my fellow veterans for a pretty simple message. The VA is not for sale. Veterans health care is not for sale. It is a sacred obligation this country has for those who swore an oath, who served this country honorably, that you earn the care and the benefits the VA delivers. I think it's a pretty simple idea that my constituents, Democrat, Independent, you name it, expect our country to honor that promise. These veterans, we expect our country to honor that promise. And we are seeing a betrayal, the Trump administration and their acolytes, the Republican side of the Hill. It's a betrayal. We've already seen efforts to fire more than 2,000 VA workers, and now the plan is another more than 80,000 fires. You're not going to deliver the care and the benefits these veterans and so many others have earned if you fire more than 80,000 people from the VA. It is impossible to do. We're already seeing reports of mental health professionals at the VA unable to provide the kind of care they need to provide because they don't have the space to provide sensitive mental health care. That is because of this administration's failures, their decision to put chaos at the VA. It is already hurting veterans' care. And once again, at this moment, when so many toxic exposed veterans of my generation, Agent Orange exposed veterans from the Vietnam era, are finally getting the benefits they've earned because of the PACT Act, we should be investing in the resources for VA. And Donald Trump and his team are doing the opposite. They are firing people and undermining the VA's mission. What they are trying to do isn't that complicated. They are trying to make things worse at VA. They're trying to get people to quit. They are firing people so they can make it easier to privatize the VA. It's not a complicated scheme. I think we all see it. And this is coming from the folks who wrap themselves in the flag, who act like they have some monopoly on loving this country. It's not patriotic to try to gut and kill the VA and veterans care. It wasn't patriotic when he pardoned January 6th rioters and cop eaters either. And I'm not going to take a lecture from any of these people, including the president, about what it is to love this country. Certainly not from a draft dodger.
All right.
I'll say this, and I'm proud to be standing with so many who understand this fight, especially my colleagues in the House and the Senate. As they take a wrecking ball to veterans care, we're going to do everything we can to fight back and hold the line, to honor that promise this country has to everyone who served, the benefits and the care that they have earned. I'm proud to be standing with these folks, these veterans, Common Defense, and my colleagues in that fight. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chris. Up next, we have Representative Patrick Ryan from New York. Go up. Couldn't let the Army not be get our word in here. Oh, you already got it. Already got it.
Seriously,
Well, I think it's not an accident that the forces of clouds and darkness were coming in, and when this group came out here to this triangle, the sun is coming out. Two things come to mind for me, and I know these feel an opposite, but I actually think we have to feel both of these and feel the fullness of both of them. To be pissed off as patriots that this care is being taken away, that the fundamental promise that we've heard about and talked about today is being broken. It's in every corner of our country, including in my district, where we're talking about a lot of hypothetical cuts that have been proposed, 83,000 or more. But a lot of us already know, as we receive care at the VA, my VA in Poughkeepsie, New York, 2 hours north of New York City, these cuts are already happening. They're not hypothetical. It is not hysterical. It is not hyperbolic. There's real harm. 20 inpatient beds at the Castle Point VA in New York State are closed because of the Trump administration. And these aren't just any inpatient beds. These are specifically to provide care to veterans experiencing mental health crisis and in recovery, dealing with addiction. And we know how directly correlated that is to battling the veteran suicide epidemic that all of us have worked so hard to bring the numbers down on. So to have that happen at my VA, where I get care and I see and know the faces and names of all my brothers and sisters that get care, that does piss me off. And I know it pisses all of us off. But what I ask us all to focus on is the other P that I think is more important, which is pride.
Yes.
I am damn proud to be with all of you today. This Congress, I've been here 3 years. Chris, you've been here a few. Senator, you've been here longer.
A little bit, just a little bit.
Great wisdom. I'm telling you, this is one of the proudest moments I've had in Congress. To see my fellow brothers and sisters come from all over the country, give up time with family, work, and everything else because you're patriots. And you refuse to let this happen, to go down quietly while they try to hurt those that we serve with. So I just want to thank Common Defense. I want to thank all of you here today. And the last thing I just want to say, there's not a single Republican here. And I try not to be partisan, but we cannot ignore that. And we have to speak truth about that fact. As Chris said, they wrap themselves in the flag and then they stab us in the back as they try to do it. And we have to call them out on that. Not as partisans, but as patriots. And we've been doing that across the country. We've been doing it in my district. And if we keep doing this, we will be proud of the results. So thank you so much. And let's keep up the fight. They were invited, but and speaking of invitees, I think a couple folks we were waiting on are running a little bit late. Let's get stuck up behind me. Representative Takano and Senator Mark Kelly. We'll keep the show moving right along. I'll introduce another one of my dear friends, Marcus Flowers, who's representing Veterans for Responsible Leadership, and Hold the Line.
Thank you. First, I want to thank Senator Blumenthal for that powerful speech, and a lifetime of service from the core to the Capitol. If that's something that we need more of. I'm here representing, as Pete said, Hold the Line PAC, which is an organization that is hell bent on seeing more representatives in Congress and in the Senate, like Senator Blumenthal and the members that are here today, and Veterans for Responsible Leadership. I want to thank Common Defense for their tireless advocacy on behalf of veterans around the country. With you, we will not be silenced. I'm just here to say it with you plainly and simply so that everybody can hear it, those in the back. VA is not for sale. To me, it's an affront to even have to say that out loud. It pisses me off to have to say that. The VA is a sacred promise to our vets who rose their right hands, swore that oath, signed that blank check, came back home with scars both seen and unseen. When we have members of Congress and someone running the VA who thinks that their only job is to appease an orange agent of chaos, we're here to tell you, we're not just some line item that you can check off. We won't be silenced. We will fight for the rights of veterans across the country. Earn those benefits that they're receiving today. Let me be clear. Again, the VA isn't a line item just to be checked off. They're people's lives. As David said earlier, 80% of veterans trust the VA, trust the health care that they receive. Those cuts, those are going to make poor outcomes, longer wait times. For people like my friend, Jose, who literally had his life saved by the VA. One more time, Donald Trump, Elon Musk, Doug Collins, someone who represents the state that I'm from, Georgia. Let me tell you, Max Cleveland, God rest his soul, he's rolling over in his grave right now. He saw what you were doing to the VA after he ran it back. Thank you. God bless.
We've been joined by one of my colleagues, and I've asked for the privilege to introduce him because he's such a great friend to me, but also to our veterans. And, you know, talk about service. This man has been in the cockpit of a fighter aircraft in combat. He has been thousands, tens of thousands of feet above the earth. I don't know exactly.
Miles.
More than that. He defines the word bravery and service. And I'm just really proud that my great friend Mark Kelly is here to say a few words. We all have busy schedules, but he's taken time to be with you in recognition of the service you have provided. I was in the Marine Corps Reserve. I have a son who was a Navy SEAL and another who was a Marine in Afghanistan. We revere Mark Kelly.
My son here. Good afternoon, everybody. And thanks for giving me the opportunity to be with all of you today. We want to make it loud and clear that the VA, not for sale. Glad to see so many veterans, but the reality of this situation is you should not have to be here. You shouldn't have to come to DC to fight for your jobs. You shouldn't have to come to DC to fight for your health care. And you, without a doubt, should not have to come here to fight for basic dignity. As a combat veteran myself, I know firsthand the sacrifices that veterans and service members make.
and all of us, we do it proudly. But we absolutely expect our government will have our backs in the years that follow our service to this great country.
Yes.
But right now, this administration, the Trump administration, has turned its back on veterans, and it ain't right.
Yeah.
Veterans make up more than 30% of the federal workforce. And it is now estimated that Donald Trump and his administration has already fired more than 6,000 men and women who have served in uniform. And I find that a disgrace. I'm hearing from veterans every single day. They come into my office and they tell me how they have been fired from their federal jobs, even after receiving excellent performance reports. Now, one of them told me that the day after he met in my office, that the next day he was going to start a minimum wage job. And this is because this guy, who was a disabled veteran, had 3 children. And he needed to figure out how to put food on the table. And you know how many of these veterans found out that they lost their job? They found out via an email. An email from an unelected billionaire named Elon Musk. A guy who doesn't care that he is destroying these people's lives. I also heard from veterans during a town hall that I hosted in Arizona last month. One of them, a guy named Henry, he visits the VA rather frequently. He's got some health care issues. And he shared with me that he's already seen reduced hours of folks working at the VA. He's seen limited access to medical records and fewer staff available to help him and his fellow veterans. And he warned me that he is hearing that essential positions are already being eliminated. Another guy named Chuck, another veteran that I met, raised concerns about how these cuts are especially hurting older veterans. In our country, just like in Social Security, right? We've got a looming silver tsunami of veterans who need services that they have earned, like transportation to appointments. And those services are being scaled back. And it's not right.
Shame. No.
Along with other colleagues in Congress, I've demanded answers from President Trump and from the VA Secretary Doug Collins on their indiscriminate purge of veterans and VA employees, including staff who, get this, staff members of the Veterans Crisis Line. As they continue to threaten cuts to the VA, the Trump administration makes it crystal clear that they do not care about former service members. It is clear to me. It should be clear to all of you. The VA provides critical services to veterans. So instead of weakening it, our government should be working on ways to improve these services. And arbitrarily firing tens of thousands of VA employees are not going to make this work better. This full-scale, full-on attack on the VA is putting lives at risk. So we have to fight back. And we have to fight back together as a team, focused on a mission. So whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, I think there's one thing that we all can agree upon, that this country made a promise to veterans that after your service, you would be treated with respect and you would get the support that you have earned. And that promise did not come with an expiration date.
Right.
So, folks, I take this promise as seriously as anybody possibly can. And I stand
here with you today on behalf of Arizona's 500,000 veterans and veterans across the country. And I'm going to keep fighting to make sure that this promise stays a reality. So thank you all for being here. But more than that, thank you for your service to this great nation.
The bomber jacket today.
God bless you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Hello, everybody. My name is JoJo Sweat, and I'm a Marine Corps veteran.
Well, let me first of all thank Chris and others for organizing and Dick for organizing the really important event. Most of them are served our, put their lives on the line to defend us. Thank all of the workers at the VA. We're doing a great job today. In my state of Vermont, what I can tell you is there is enormous pride in the work that the VA is doing in terms of health. I go around and I ask people, "You're happy with the healthcare you're getting at the VA?" And people say yes. Now that may not be true in every part of the country, but it is certainly true in the state of Vermont. Is the VA perfect? No, it is not. So our job is not to arbitrarily fire 83,000 employees. Our job is to understand that we don't have enough doctors, we don't have enough nurses, we don't have enough social workers, we don't have enough custodians. So let us make sure that we in fact have the workforce in every CBOC and hospital, VA hospital in this country that is providing the quality care that our veterans deserve. Yeah. All right, second point that I want to make. I don't know if other people have touched on this. When you have people like Elon Musk talking about the need to privatize anything that can be privatized, you know what they're looking at? They're looking at the VA. All right, why is that? The reason is that a lot of these guys don't like the concept of government. The VA is not a large corporation that makes massive amounts of money for the wealthiest people in this country. What its goal is to provide the best quality care it can to the veterans of our country. Often they do it, sometimes they don't, but that is their goal. And there are forces out there on Wall Street and elsewhere saying, "My God, look at all these veterans. We could make a fortune off of them." So, so one way you do that is lower the quality of care. And by the way, as some of you know, way back after the war in Vietnam, the VA was in really bad shape. And veterans did not want to go into the VA. But our job is not to let them lower the quality through arbitrary cuts in our workforce. It's to improve the quality of care at the VA. So, whereas some want to move to the privatization of VA, I happen to believe that we live in a nation where our overall healthcare system is broken, right? Yes. Yeah. Can't afford it. There are long waiting lines, etc. People can't get to a doctor. All right. I want to see the VA being a model of what healthcare in America can be. I want the private healthcare system to have to look at the VA in terms of quality of care, access, efficiency, and cost effectiveness. That is the fight. And we are going to fight very hard to make sure that the VA gets the resources that they need. We're not going to let them make arbitrary cuts in order to, address somebody's win. So thank you all very much for your efforts. Let's go forward together. Thank you. Okay, thanks so much. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Now I'll close this out. I'm JoJo Sweat. I'm a Marine Corps veteran. I'm also the organizing director for Common Defense. And I want to thank our senators and congresspeople for being here and all of our veteran leaders who have spoke truth to power today. We are here because something sacred is being threatened. The Department of Veterans Affairs is not just another line item on a budget sheet. It is a promise made to every person who raised their right hand, put on the uniform, and served this country with the belief that they would not be forgotten when the fight was over. But right now, we are seeing that promise be broken under the Trump administration's policies pushed forward by Doug Collins and the so-called Doge Commission. We are watching the slow dismantling of RVA. Jobs are being cut, clinics are being shuttered, and private corporations are being handed the keys to our veterans' care, not because they're better, but because it's profitable. Let's be clear. This is privatization, and it's being done quietly under the radar by people who are betting that we won't notice or we won't fight back. Well, we're here to tell them we see you. We will fight back. Veterans and our families are not political pawns. We will not allow our care to be auctioned off to the highest bidder. This is where all of you come in. If you're watching this, if you care about veterans, then do something. Join us in Common Defense. We are organizing veterans, military families, and allies across this country to fight for a strong, fully funded, and public VA system. We are fighting for care that is rooted in service, not profit. And we need all of your voices. Call every senator. Call every member of Congress. Tell them why the VA matters to you. Tell them to stop the Trump administration and Doug Collins from gutting the VA through backdoor deals and budget cuts. Remind them, veterans didn't serve for corporate profits. We served for each other. The VA is not for sale, not on our watch. The VA is not for sale, not today, not tomorrow, not ever. We earned this care. We freaking bled for it. We buried our friends for it. And we will fight like hell to protect it. So for those who are trying to dismantle the VA, you better hear us loud and clear. You will lose. Because we're organized, we're angry, and we're not backing down. Thank you.
VA not for sale! 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 VA not for sale!
All right. Thanks everybody for being here today. For any questions, queries, please contact myself or Jacob Thomas. Thank you. Done.
I'd just like to say hello.
Take it. I just want to shake your hand. All right, y'all take it. I would put the
Thank you.
Plenty of it.
Hey, everybody.
Everybody line back up, picture.
Clap 2 times if you can hear me. Clap 3 times if you can hear me. All right, everybody. Yes.
Yeah, come on, what are you doing up here?
We'll get in the
Right, man.
You guys want me in this one?
Oh, yeah. Next to your eyes off, I can make my way to the back.
Here we go.
No. Okay, well, I'm too sorry. I want to get in front of you.
We're not gonna get it.
No.
Not for sale.
Good.
Hey, look at Chris with the hat. Look at Chris.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
I'll be right.
I'm behind this, so
Right.
All right.
yeah.
All right. Wow, I'm excited.
You guys headed over for happy hour?
We are. It's second coming.
I'm gonna get back to New York.
Yeah,
that's-
It's yard work. Yeah. They're on up there.
Only about a 12-hour drive in front of me, so.
Yes,
Higher heights. Hell of a job.
man, gained you that. VA needs to be helped.
I don't want that.
My heart.
Oh, I just couldn't leave here without getting my judge out house.
Seen you forever.
Oh, it's been forever.
Yeah, it's already
I
on.
feel like it's been like a year now.
No, I know. Last time we saw each other was
Is it in
before
Atlanta?
on the watch party in July.
Yeah.
Got a couple hours.
What's in the year? Yep.
Yeah. Are you coming
I
to happy
just
hour?
last week. I gotta get back.
Oh, yeah. My guy, you gotta take care of him.
Take care of us.
I gave him the week off and he still showed up here.
He showed up. There you go. Good stuff. Can't stop good weather, man.
No.
Don't get you wrong.
We're gonna keep fighting.
Right. It's good, yeah.
That's it. Let's talk and figure some things out. A lot of trying to do a whole lot of coalition building, getting us all together. It's like one big.
Yeah.
Make sure you guys.
Oh, what?
Swing it.
You know, I like to
Deal.
but
I just say goodbye to the bees, and y'all take it easy. Or you can slide off.
I'm good enough for gas.
All right. Sorry.
Hold up.
So just to let y'all know, so we are. Monday night, 3 so 6 p.m. happy hour. Relax a little bit, and let's go have some fun. What happened? What was we doing? We're free till 6 p.m. Happy hour. Oh, what you thinking? What you thinking? Should I pop out or should I just be regular like?